Whoa, I feel like I'm all over the place. Ooh, hi, hello. It's 2022 and mac and cheese is still cool. Just saying. There we go. I was too low. Happy New Year. Can y'all hear me? Let's move it here like that, because there we go. Oh, this is on. Whatever. Yes, that mac and cheese is still cool. Absolutely. Okay, so mac and cheese, I feel like this is my opinion, it's like a pretty historical, like, holiday food. I feel like I eat it at Thanksgiving. I feel like if there's like a holiday meal, mac and cheese is on the table. But not this year. Something happened with all of my family this year, and they switched it up, which I don't hate, you know, like, try new things, but no one had any mac and cheese. I'm gonna have to be in charge of it next year, but the problem is it would just be boxed Kraft mac and cheese. Cannot go wrong. Right. I was gonna say, who doesn't? I know a lot of people don't, but, like, it's just noodles and, like, good stuff, right? Like, oh, my hair's doing something funky over here. It's just cheese and butter. Hi, welcome. Chicken and bacon in the mac and cheese is good. I see people do all kinds of great things with mac and cheese. I mean, I've seen, like, oh man, like, Panera now has this, like, mac and cheese, broccoli and cheese soup. I couldn't make up my mind one day because I love their broccoli and cheese soup at Panera. And then I saw the mac and cheese, broccoli cheese soup, and I was like, well, shoot, I'll just do both if you can't make up your mind, right? What? Guess what? I'm glad you're here live. I'm glad you're able to make it. You've never had mac and cheese for a holiday? I'm telling you, it could just be, you know, me and my family and the way we, like, did the holidays. I don't know. I feel like I had it forever and always. And then this year it just didn't happen. So anyway, have I made the viral TikTok pasta? No, but I'm very intrigued because I love pasta. Tell me more. You got a family-based therapist position. That is amazing. Where? Congrats. I have seen that tomato feta dish, and I've done, like, a variation of that. So I am not a chef. I am not a cook. I'm not good in the kitchen at all. Not at all. But cooking for two, and I live in a small town, and I'm not hating eating out. That would be my preferred option. If I could eat out every single meal, I totally would. But I don't have a lot of options where I live. And so if I ate out every meal, I would literally be eating only like the same few places all the time. And that would get really dull. So you have to learn how to cook, right? And be in the kitchen. So anyway, I see recipes all the time, and I like never follow it the way it should be followed. I make it up, or I add something, or I take something out, or, you know, I'm like, oh, well, this will be good. So, you know, don't tell me what to do, always. It's in Pennsylvania, PA, great. Good for you, I'm so glad. Aw. And my mac and cheese and my grilled cheese. Yay for dietetic student here learning from my page. That's amazing. Good for you. Soak up health at every size, eating disorder. I don't know anything about a dietetics program. I'm a therapist, right? I know it's a lot, and y'all work really hard, and it's a lot of training. Like I get that, but I don't know like the specifics, right? But what I'm hearing is that y'all don't learn a lot about like eating disorders, disordered eating, and in fact might even be kind of like taught, unfortunately, these things. So I love seeing people come from the dietitian field to learn about eating disorders, learn health at every size. I think that's just going to make you a great dietitian. So y'all, how is it going rolling into like the week after the holidays, right? I feel good. I took time off. I still saw clients, but I gave myself permission to keep it really chill, keep it really calm. And so we had a pretty chill holidays. And I feel ready, right? I feel ready for like what's next, the new year, whatever's gonna happen. Things are gonna stay the same. Many things are gonna stay the same, but also, you know, I think there's opportunities that are coming, right? And so I just feel kind of like excited. We love Haze. Good. Haze, health at every size. Yes. That's why I think I have leftover mac and cheese. Tally Pond was from earlier this weekend after New Year's. Mac and cheese is good for that. Right. It's about the food. If you're feeling bad, your body may know and have an idea about what would feel better. Again, where my mac and cheese came from. I wasn't feeling great. I needed to eat. So mac and cheese, was good. Is what I wanted. Is what I needed. So I'm a PhD. I have my PhD in psychology. And I went to, Baylor, and then graduate school. Was a therapist I am still a therapist. That hasn't changed. Went back to school. Got my PhD. I don't know how people get a PhD either. I think I was a little bit delusional. I never want to discourage anybody from getting a PhD. I work with a lot of college students who go on to get their PhDs, grad students. As someone who has a PhD, like, I don't regret it at all. I love it. But it was really hard work and not necessarily a necessary degree. I didn't need the PhD to be a therapist. It was more of a, I wanted it, so I thought I would try. But it was also really, really, really fucking hard. And to this day, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done, was write a dissertation. So, wow, it's hard. So go and do it. But like, that's my advice. It's not for everybody at all. It is impossible to get into a PhD in psych. I work with a lot of folks in schools trying to get into it, and I've been very frustrated with a lot of the gatekeeping I'm seeing happening in the field. Like, it's hard for people to become a licensed professional counselor. It shouldn't be so expensive. It shouldn't take so long. I mean, I get that we're well trained, and I'm not advocating that we be less trained, because what we do is very important, but it just shouldn't be so competitive to get a PhD in psychology. Like it or even a master's degree. Like, I'm thinking about people who are like, that struggle, and the whole like graduate school application process, like, it shouldn't be that hard. What do you need to become a therapist? So it depends on your state. In Texas, you need a master's degree, usually like social work, psychology, and then you take a test. And when you pass that test, and then you have to get a supervisor, and you have to do like a practicum and have like these hours saying like, hey, you did this thing, you are kind of competent. Then you can become a licensed professional counselor associate in the state of Texas. Then you have to have a supervisor, and then I think it's like 2,000 hours maybe of like, so you can like see people, but it's kind of like a residency. That's how I describe it to folks, right? Like, you're working, you're providing care, you're doing it all, but you're meeting very regularly, consistently, like with somebody who's been a therapist for a really long time. Basically a lot of school and a lot of money and time, right? And it shouldn't be like that. Like, on one hand, like, again, I'm glad that we're trained because we do really great work, and it's a really like, I value the work in the profession, but it shouldn't be so hard, especially because we have such a shortage of people. Like, so I'm going and I'm going to become an LPC supervisor in the state of Texas, which means that if you're a therapist, want to be a therapist in the state of Texas, if you're an LPC associate, I can be your supervisor and help you, like, teach you how to be a therapist. Hey, y'all. Hi over on Instagram. You're welcome. Nurses, great. I think y'all are a struggling profession just with the hell that the medical profession has gone through these last couple of years. I know nurses are burned out, and if you were considering nursing, I don't know where you might be now. No, I think, and here's why it's so frustrating. MSW is different, right? So you would need a different licensed supervisor for that. And it's different state to state. Like, ugh, it's just so, like, it shouldn't be that hard. I'm having mac and cheese and a grilled cheese sandwich. Right. Right, you need usually a licensed clinical social worker, right? I do specialize in eating disorders. Why? There weren't any when I started my practice, but my area had none. I think I personally struggled with like disordered eating, orthorexia, and I really enjoy working with, because it's not just about the food, right? It's about like coping and emotions and how you're like dealing with the world. So it's fun to help people, you know, realize that and walk through that and figure out, you know, like how to care for themselves without taking it out on their body. And I love the work that I do. Neuroscience. That was the hardest class I took in undergrad. Like that was one of those like make or break classes too. And apparently I got through, but I mean, I got through by the hair on my chin. Like it was a tough class. So at Baylor, in that neuroscience class, they had 3 different professors. Why? I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. I got this sense that there's like this power struggle in the department. Like no one really wanted to like say, hey, I want to be the head. They all wanted to be the head. So they kind of just said, okay, fine, all of you do it. So they split this class into 3 parts and a different professor taught each part. But that meant there were 3 different tests. Great, fine, whatever. Because it was a different professor. So you never learned. By the time you were getting your grade back from that one, you were at another teacher was teaching like a different part of the class. So the feedback didn't matter because it was a totally different. It was hard. It was ridiculous. Plus you're learning about the brain. Whew. Go neuroscience. We go to therapy. That's how. We do the work. I'm not my own therapist, but I will say that learning so much about mental health, learning so much about like eating disorders really help, and intuitive eating, right, helped me. Like I learned, because I was learning so much about the like mental health, I was learning so much about eating disorders. I was able to be like, oh, so there is a lot to learn and read. You know, if you're struggling with an eating disorder and you're really in it, like there are books you can read, there are programs you can get into. Like treatment is necessary when you have an eating disorder. It will help you. Treatment works. We know that. There are a lot of reasons why it's not accessible to people, and I'm not getting on that soapbox, but listen, if you're struggling, you don't have to struggle alone. Read a book, or I have like a shit ton of YouTube videos. I have the Recovery Academy where I literally teach you everything I know about eating disorders and like the treatment of eating disorders. I take it in kind of like eating disorders for dummy. I hate to say that, but you know, it's kind of like I break it down and give you the information to make it doable and digestible for you, right? So there are free resources at recovery-academy.com, or there are very affordable, doable, like courses where you get the juice and the information. Right. The first test is always the hardest with the professor. So you never, I never got to learn that. And then they're like, you could sign up for neuroscience too or whatever. I was like, hell no, thank you. It wasn't a requirement. I was going more of like I went more of like the counseling path and not the clinical path. Like the clinical is too like that, like clinical for me. I get it. I was more like, let's talk about feelings and kumbayaing. So counseling. All right, my friends. I have a lot of lunch left to eat because I gab more than I grub. And I'm trying to use my energy today to be productive and get some work done. So I hope you use your energy to fit whatever you need to get done today. So if that energy means let's take a nap, take a nap. If that energy means you feel like moving your body, go do it in a fun way. If your energy is low, try eating a snack. Try eating something. It might help your energy. I would still choose a PhD over a PsyD, yes, because again, I wanted to do more of like the counseling. I know PsyD is more counseling. Ooh, that's a good question. I'd have to think about that. I kind of don't really know the difference, to be honest. There's that. I went more because of the program and the classes they offered. I was able to really get into like some health, mind body connection type classes. So that's why I chose the PhD program that I went into. So lots to consider. We should talk about that next week. I hope to be around on Monday about 12:15ish. I'll eat a little bit and we'll hang out and talk eating disorders, mental health, life. So y'all take care. It's good seeing you always online. I'll see y'all next week. Bye, friends.